Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking about a really unfortunate story about a popular dog brand toy that almost killed my dog. So that was this week. This happened 2 weeks ago. It was very emotional for me, so I wasn't ready to make the video. Now I am, and I just want to let you guys know so that you can be aware and be more cautious, because I don't want you to have to go through what we went through. So my dog Ruger is 4 years old. He's an Australian cattle dog mix. He looks like a little German Shepherd. He's 40 pounds, or he's like 45 to 50 pounds depending. And so this all started about a month ago. I was away at a cottage and someone fed him corn cob, like the cob of the corn. They fed him 2 halves, and I didn't know, well, I didn't say that they could do this, she just did it, but I also didn't know how dangerous corn cobs were for dogs, so I never thought anything of it. I was kind of casually telling my friend the next day about it, and she was like, oh my gosh, and her sister's dog had almost died from eating corn, and I was like, okay. So it was in the back of my mind, but I kind of didn't think about it again until the next weekend. And my friend's sister's dog is a lot smaller, so I was like, oh, maybe it's just because he was smaller. There's nothing I really could have done about it then. It had been a full day and a half, so it wouldn't, I couldn't have made him throw it up. So anyways, and I didn't really know how dangerous they were. So then I went camping the next weekend. He was fine all week, and my fiance was texting me saying, oh, he's sick, he's not eating his food, he's throwing it up, what he did eat, and just very lethargic, laying around and doing this downward dog stretch over and over. And so this was strange for him. And then throughout the day he didn't get better, and that's when I mentioned I think I told Derek before, but he didn't really pay attention when I said that he had ate that. So that's when I mentioned, I was like, I'm just really nervous because this person fed him the corn cob, and he was like, oh, there was corn in his vomit. And I was like, oh my gosh, and this has been a week, so I knew it was the corn. So right away I made Derek take him to the emergency vet, and they gave him x-rays and gave him fluid. They couldn't see anything in his x-rays, and that was because apparently it's organic matter, so you can't see it. So anyways, they gave him fluid, and they said hopefully he'll pass it. If not, then you have to bring him back and he has to get this surgery. And they told us the surgery was $4,000, but it would be $2,000 if we could wait till Monday at our normal vet. So he took him home. My cousin and I, thank God for her, bless her, we drove all the way back from the Adirondacks that night, because I was just too worried. I couldn't function. And so we got home, and he already seemed better when we got home, and then the next morning he woke up, he was getting better throughout the day, and I actually followed him around, and he actually pooped it out, the piece of corn. It wasn't that big, but it was big enough, I guess, to get stuck. And so we were like, oh my gosh, thank God, we don't have to get the surgery, we thought we were in the clear, everything was good. And then 2 weeks ago, so that was another 2 weeks later, he started showing the exact same symptoms. He was throwing up, lethargic, and just not himself, acting weird, and he was hiding, and hiding is another thing that's a huge sign of your dog in pain. They'll hide from you. So I took him to the vet, and I was like, oh no, it's the corn, there's more, it's stuck, what, ugh, I was so frustrated. So I took him to the vet. They did x-rays, and they couldn't see anything really. They thought they saw something, but again, it's organic matter, so you can't really see it. So they're like, okay, basically take him home, the surgery, you could do it, but I was like, well, last time he passed it, so I didn't want to get the surgery right away. in case it was nothing or in case he passed it. So then that was Tuesday I took him. Wednesday he was still not getting better, and I have like anxiety, so like I just couldn't, like I needed to be at the vet to make myself feel better even. So we went in again, and he ended up doing another set of x-rays to see if things were different, and things were different, but he still couldn't see anything, but there was like a weird gas pattern. And then he said it could be this other thing like pancreatitis or something. Do I want to do a blood test? And I was like, no, because it was like another $200 just for the blood test, and at the time I was just like overwhelmed, and I was like no. So then I went home, and then I was like, oh, I should have done the blood test. So I went back that night, they did the blood test, and he was like, honestly, like if I'm off tomorrow, but I'll come in if he doesn't get better, like he needs surgery. But at the same time, like they didn't know if he was actually sick, like they didn't know, like the vet was like, he looks really alert, and like well, like he was like still alert, like his ears were still up, and like he wasn't like really laying there at the vet, but then as soon as we got home he was doing that. So he's like, I don't know, like they didn't know, they weren't like pressuring me into surgery because they didn't know if it was something stuck, but in my gut, like I knew. I think I was just hoping that he'd pass it. So the next morning he threw up again, and he was acting weird, and I was like, there's something wrong, like he's not okay. So I wasn't really 100% confident in that vet, just because he was the only one that was telling me things. So I actually called my sister's friend, who is a vet, or my friend's sister, sorry, who is a vet, and she was so helpful and kind of just like reassured me that I was doing the right thing, and like that he needed the surgery. So I took him back to the vet. They didn't have time to like see him, so like at a formal appointment, so I just left him there so she could look at him in between appointments. So she called me, and she said his blood work came back fine, and the next step would probably be surgery. And she's like, we could not find anything, like we don't know until we get in there. And I was like, okay, like we're gonna have to do the surgery. So I told her to go ahead and do the surgery. So that was a really rough day. My mom was with me, and I couldn't go home because I didn't want to like see anything that like reminded me of him, because I was so worried. So we stayed like at Starbucks, and like we went to 2 coffee shops, we went to a park, we went to like shopping a bit, just to like get my mind off of it and wait for him for the call to say that he was okay. So they called me about like 3 hours later, and they said that they had found a piece of a ball stuck in his intestine, and that it would not have passed on its own. So it made me super happy. We made the right choice. He got it out, but that was like the beginning, because the recovery from that surgery is really intense too. So I have a few clips like I'm going to insert of the day he came home, and then a little bit after, but I just wanted to show you like exactly what he had eaten. And this is a glow in the dark version of it. I don't have the other ones, but they're just these like rubber Chuck-It balls, and honestly they're his favorite. They're blue and orange, and then there's some that are blue and orange. And he had chewed it apart, and I honestly, like, I don't know when. Like, I know every dog toy says like don't leave unsupervised with the toy, so like it's not Chuck-It's fault, but I don't even know when he chewed that piece off. Like, I don't know where that ball is, like, because we have so many of those balls, and they just get lost on our property all the time, so we just keep repurchasing them. And so yeah, like I have no idea when he chewed that piece of that ball, or like where that ball even went. So that is something that we're obviously like going to be way more diligent about. And I wanted to let you know like how serious this is, because after the surgery there is about a week where the sutures in his intestines could leak, and that would cost you between $10,000 and $15,000 to fix that, he said. And also like on him it was really hard. He was sedated for a lot of it from the painkillers, which was good, but he like was asleep for like days, and he needed fed every couple hours. And if I wasn't working, I would have had to, or like I'm not working because I don't work in the summer, but I would have had to take those days off, which would have costed us more money. And honestly, the surgery cost us $4,000 in the end. Between like all the x-rays and stuff I did the week before plus the surgery, it costed $4,000 for a little piece of a ball. Obviously, don't regret it, but it was preventable, and like first the corn and then this, and it's like, okay, like you really have to be careful on what your dog is consuming, and I know it's not easy. It's just like having children, like you can't be watching them all the time, but it's very costly. And now he said that if it happens again, or like the second or third time, which like God forbid it doesn't, it's really dangerous. Like they can't really go in and keep doing this surgery, so that's something to think about too. So yeah, that was my story about how he almost died. And the worst part is, like, we are a working couple. We like have we had the resources to do the surgery. Had we not, we would have had to put him down. This makes me like want to cry, but yeah, so had we not, we would have had to put him down. And that is something that, like, I'm so grateful that we were able to do the surgery, but I know that there's so many people out there that would not have been able to do the surgery. So I really like please, like, be careful what your dog's chewing on. I mean, like, he's only 4 years old. Like, if I had to put him down because of this when he was 4 years old, like, that would have been devastating to me. Like, he's an amazing dog, and something he loved almost killed him. So please, guys, like, be careful. If a dog is chewing a toy and, like, even like there's a little crack in it, throw it out. I don't care how expensive the toy is, it's not worth it at all. Like, throw it out, because he has never, this is like, he always plays with those balls, and this has never happened before in the 4 years that he has. So that's my little spiel. Please, like, be careful, keep your tiny furry little best friend safe, because yeah, the pain he went through, like, it's not all about the finances either. Like, the pain he went through was pretty traumatizing for him, and me. So it's not worth it. Please be careful. And no toy is indestructible either. Please know that too. So always monitor your dogs when they're playing with toys. Anyways, so thanks for listening. I hope that helps somebody out there and prevents another dog from having the surgery. It's called foreign body obstruction surgery, by the way, and if left too long, it can actually, like, erupt their bowels. So please be careful. Again, I can't say that enough. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Okay, so this is my little boy. He's been at home for about 3 hours now. No, yeah, 3 hours. He looks very sick. He had some regurgitation in his nose, so his nose is running. That's why that's there. This is from his IV, and this is his incision down here. So I'm hoping that it's just the anesthesia right now that's going to wear off, and he will start to wake up and start feeling better. This is so abnormal for him, so this is sad to see him like this.